Information Station 1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, 6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. No need to use the phone right now because Allan Ansorge is in the studio ready to talk about his books. Allan has been with us before. I'm not so sure if he's still a snowbird or not. It sounds like he's going to be a permanent resident. Sounds like he's buying a house in the Villages. But we've known him as a snowbird of sorts in the past, visiting us from Robin's favorite place in the world, which is where she was from, Wisconsin. He has been here to promote his books, Crossing the Center Line, Crossing the State Line, A Midnight Clear, in which he honored my family by putting my sister's name into the story. And Hugo's Turn is a short prose on my list here of writings. Allan will be at the 2013 Book Feast author event happening Saturday, this coming Saturday, and Allan is actually our last guest. Robin says she saved the best for last, and I agree. Where's Robin's microphone? And also, I wanted to make sure that I just reiterated this, the fact that the Book Feast is only 3 hours long. So if you want to meet the authors, you need to be there at 11, because you only have 3 hours, and every time you go to one table to speak to one author, if you want to meet more than one, you're going to have to get there early. They are going to have their hands full trying to speak to all of you interested readers, and of course your benefit is that you get to meet the people who put those words into those books, and it's just a wonderful event. So I have to turn around now because otherwise I'm being rude to Allan. I'm facing away from him as I speak. Allan Ansorge, it's good to see you again.
Your hair is looking very good from the back.
Yeah. And am I right? Is it accurate to say you were a snowbird?
Yeah, I was a snowbird.
Yeah. Did you? Are you offended by that term, by the way? Some people say they don't like that term.
Well, I don't like the attitude that people have towards snowbirds.
What
because
attitude?
I come down here, I spend money, I contribute to your sales tax, so you don't have to pay income tax. I figure
That's right.
I'm doing my part to support the economy of Florida.
See, I always thought I'd like to be a snowbird. I always thought I'd like that. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I live here all year long. I wouldn't mind living somewhere else in the. When would it be? In the summer?
Yeah.
No, in the winter. Yeah, in the summer I would be somewhere else.
You'd be somewhere else.
We come down here every time we have a chance.
Yeah.
We come in the summer, we come in the winter. I mean, I've been here in the middle of the summer. We like Wisconsin. Our families are there.
Yeah.
And so Jane refuses to give it up.
Yeah.
You know, she likes that idea of having the kids sit around the table and point at their father and their father-in-law and say, "Boy, is he weird."
Is your transportation always by car, or do you ever fly?
I fly quite a bit.
Oh, you do fly a
Yeah,
lot. Okay.
Jane comes by car. Jane is claustrophobic, and so we don't put Jane in an airplane unless it's absolutely necessary.
Oh, really? See, the reason I was asking is because I was just wondering, I mean, in trying to figure out how writers do what they do. I mean, you were saying something to me earlier about playing the guitar. Well, that, to me, that's nothing. To me, what you do is something. And that's the talent that I'm impressed by, is what you do. And I've often wondered, does a long drive help come up with an idea? Like, you got nothing to do but drive. Do ideas come to you at that moment?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately?
Yes.
Why?
There have been times where my wife has pointed out to me, "Allan, you're driving down the wrong side of the road. Pull over. You're writing. You know, you're not driving.
Aren't
nice. You?"
Oh, no.
And I say, "Yeah, I guess I was writing." And she says,
I think you told us this once before,
it's time for me to take the wheel and you can go sit in the back seat. You know, I do less damage then.
So, I mean, you literally travel to Florida separately? She drives and you fly?
No.
Oh, okay.
I usually drive down with her, but then I end up going to different places to do the book thing and that. And,
Okay.
you know, it ends up that I have to be somewhere else.
Now, on the list that Robin prepared for me, I mentioned Hugo's Turn. I
Yes.
don't know that one. That's one I don't know.
Hugo's Turn is a take on one of the greatest moments in sports. It's when Lou Gehrig was diagnosed with ALS, and he quit being a Yankee. And he was stood on the baseline with a big silver microphone in front of his face, and he said, "Today is the greatest day of the rest of my life." And what I did is I wrote, some people called it a parody, and I take offense at that. It's about a guy who is playing ball, and you don't know until the end of the story that he's playing with his 21 grandchildren on a mowed farm field.
Aww.
And the last line is, "Today, I'm the happiest man in the world."
Oh, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
You're an emotional man.
Yes, I am.
I
I love people.
Yeah.
I really do love people. Anything that has to do with people interests me. I think that's why my books have very little narration in them. They're almost all dialogue. And I don't tell people what people look like in the books. I let them paint their own pictures in their mind.
I like that, too, actually.
You know?
I don't like getting bogged down as a reader with long descriptions of what a person looks like.
It's not necessary, because you can only disappoint people if... I'll take, for instance, the Reacher books. You know, and they made a movie, and Reacher is, in the books, is never 5'2".
Right.
You know, and yet they had a 5'2" actor playing. You know,
Right.
it just so you can only disappoint people if you paint a picture for them that you think it is.
Right.
It allows you creativity as a reader to make the people look like what you want them to look like, what their voice tells you they look like.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And I think really good writers write each character with an individual voice that that the reader, after they get into, maybe they're introduced to the character and maybe see 3 pages of their dialogue. You don't even have to say Dan said, you know.
Do other descriptive things about the person who is the character also fall into the category of unnecessary? Like, for example, and please, I hope nobody's offended by this, but I don't think it's necessary to tell me your sexual orientation. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, I'm going to accept you for what you are. You don't need to tell me that you like men. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but you don't need to tell me that. I don't go around shouting, you know, I like women.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, so in
and you know what?
storytelling,
it's not only unnecessary in a book. It's not necessary in life.
okay. So, but in the context of a story, it might become necessary if that became an issue for that character, right?
Yeah, one of my favorite writers, who is totally unpublished, and her name is Mary Ann Mercer, and she wrote a book about a pair of twin brothers, where one of them is a female impersonator, and the other one is a trial lawyer, and as straight as an arrow, and their relationship. And it's an absolutely cunningly written book, and she couldn't get anybody to publish the book.
Why is that?
Because they said that she didn't depict it accurately. The editor that looked at the book, and I felt sorry for that editor, because they evidently live in kind of a vacuum type world that they don't know what that real situation would be like. You know, they didn't recognize it as really being very realistic. They had an image in their mind of what they thought it should be.
And you know what? This happened for Robin and I. I went to the grocery store, and there was a black woman who was the cashier at the grocery store, and she told me a funny joke. And so I saw Robin. I said, a black woman at the store told me a funny joke, and I told Robin the joke, and she said, "Oh, I thought there was something racial about it." And I said, "No, nothing racial about it." And she said, "Well, okay, well, you didn't need to tell me she was a black woman." That's true. I didn't need to say it. Right? It was just a woman told me a joke. In fact, I didn't even need to say woman. A person told me a joke.
I heard this good joke.
Yeah. Don't even need to say it was from a person. Just heard
It might have been a frog. You know.
I don't know. As a writer, though, I'm trying to boil it down to that. And you are character driven.
Oh yes.
Your characters are everything. Well, and the places are part of it. You know, some people, I've heard other interviews where the interviewer will refer to the place as a character. And I kind of appreciate that. I think I'll start to do the same thing. So.
Yes.
And I think that happens in your books.
One of the reviews of Crossing the Center Line, and it's on Amazon. It's one of my several pieces of hate mail.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This person said that they didn't understand why these people were always eating. And I don't know if she was from Weight Watchers or what, but all these characters are always eating. And one of the major features of the book is it takes place in a marina, in a diner.
Right, exactly.
Well, you can only drink so many cups of coffee. You have to eat once in a while.
Yeah.
You know? One would think.
Right.
So my places, the characters live in a world that I create for them, but it has to be a place that they fit. The church in there. And there's a foreshadowing in the first book about one of them's relationship with religion. And I had someone take offense at that.
Oh.
Because he was outside of a tent revival show, and he was invited to go inside and wouldn't. I don't know if you remember it in
Yes,
the book.
yes, I
but
do.
And he parked his car as far away from the church as he possibly could.
Yeah.
And it's because at that point you come to understand that he's a wounded person, damaged emotionally, mentally, physically, and when someone tried to kill him from that incident. And that comes up in the fourth book. It's addressed again because there's going to be a wedding.
Oh.
And it's going to be in a church. So that issue is going to come back again. So the church is in reality a character.
So do you develop the characters? I mean, obviously, once the book is done, the character continues to develop because you put them in another book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they age. My characters age. A lot of writers keep their characters.
I wonder what Charlie Brown would look like right now if he aged.
Boggles the mind.
You're
let's think about this. Did
Gary
he ever
Burkhoff.
what's that kid that plays the piano? Did he ever get to a
Schroeder.
full-size piano?
Oh yeah, that's right, Schroeder. Yeah.
And where he had 88 keys. I mean, he's
Right.
wonderful on 8. Can you imagine the potential if he's got 10 times as many keys?
Wasn't there a comic strip though where the artist did age his? Was it Gasoline Alley or something?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was that.
Yeah, I think they aged. I can't remember.
One of the most wonderful things you're doing now as a writer is you're delving into the unknown because you have much success with all of your characters in this series of books.
Thank you.
They're wonderful. I look forward to the next one coming out. I love Maggie, by the way. She's awesome. And but now you're going into a different direction with a new series. That's got to be scary.
Yeah. And I don't know how people will accept it. I put a couple of paragraphs or quotes out of the new book on Facebook, and they got absolutely no reaction. And there's nothing in the world worse than being ignored.
Well, I missed those. Otherwise, I would have clicked.
Well, that's
on it.
okay. Let's just look at Facebook for a second. That's the problem. If I see your stuff, I almost always comment on it or at least like it, whatever that is. That like button thing. But a lot of times I don't see stuff. People say, "How come you didn't comment?" I said, "Well, I didn't see it." They go down so fast. There's 7 billion people in that thing, right?
Yeah, and
every person on the planet.
People keep sending me pictures of cats. And wet ducks and stuff like that. And then somehow I'm not tech. To me,
by the way,
laptop,
I love your comments about the political posts.
Oh,
on Facebook, you unfriend anybody who makes a right?
Yes,
gone.
Yes, and I've also done that just recently with a person that I've known a great length of time, who kept posting. He's an atheist, and he's entitled to be an atheist if he wishes. But it was offending a lot of my friends what he was putting on there, and he was proselytizing being an atheist. And I have my own convictions, my own beliefs, and I hold them very dearly, but I hold them here.
Yeah, right.
I don't inflict them on other people.
Yeah.
And I resented the fact that he did. And so I made a comment about it, and it was a very broad hint that I didn't want people writing either pro or con their beliefs. And he didn't take the hint, and I was getting like maybe 5 a day.
Oh, no.
I have this one guy that puts like 53 messages on Facebook a day, and they were automatically linked to my email.
Oh.
So when I opened my email, which I liked, because if somebody did put something on Facebook that I would, like if I would have saw yours things pop up on there, I would go and look at it.
Yeah.
And because I too, that scrolling thing and a lot of worthless stuff on it. But so I told him directly that he should just take me off his mailing list. And he's an author, very talented author, writes sci-fi stuff that scares me so bad I can't read it because I can't sleep.
Oh, wow.
He is that good. But
well, the argument that got under my skin one time was this. Here's the debate. Okay, let's say you and I differ, and then you say to me, "But
that's me."
A cartoon sound effect.
Oh, I love that.
You say to me,
I hope everything's okay.
Hello.
Hello. He's on the phone. Well,
my prescription's ready to be picked up.
Oh, good.
Allan Ansorge just visited
us. I'm lying, don't you?
You can visit.
That was Walgreens.
You're an honest guy.
Alan is going to be at the library this coming Saturday and talking about his books and selling his books, I presume. Am I right?
Sell them, give them away. What?
Oh, by the way, so okay. What I started to say is here's the debate, and I love this comeback. okay, you don't believe in God or whatever, you don't believe in this candidate, whatever the argument is. Then they say, well, Larry, I'm a thinking man. Oh, hello. There's a button on here called unfriend. You just said that I'm not. No, I didn't say that. Never mind, you're done.
If they were a thinking person, they would never have said that.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think. Oh my goodness! I got a brain freeze.
Well, your books are really outstanding, Alan, because they just grab the reader from the very beginning.
Well, the new one I think is going to be exciting. I think people will like it because it's more of a thriller
Oh,
type of thing,
wow.
but it is funny.
Mm-hmm.
There are characters in it that I like female characters to be strong people. And
Now it's ringing.
This.
Is there a phone in the studio?
Yeah, Dan or Joe's phone is in here.
Not only is it ringing, but it's buzzing in my ear.
I'm sorry, Alan. You were interrupted.
Yeah, this is going to happen at the library too, by the way.
About your characters.
Phones will be ringing.
I'm thinking of Judy Holliday singing "The Bells Are Ringing."
Yeah, right.
The Victor Berry series
Yes,
is
the
a
new
little
one.
bit different. I have a woman's MI6 agent from England who has a daughter that's a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's assigned to protect another police officer who's had an attack on his life. And her mother keeps going around and saying, well, we can just shoot them because I have diplomatic immunity and I can just leave the country.
No.
You know,
And ironically, that's probably true. I mean, that's
To a
probably
degree,
the
it
way
is.
it is. Yeah.
yeah. And what can happen is well, I probably shouldn't tell the end of the book, should I?
You know,
No.
don't do
No.
that. That's the one.
No.
That's the one rule we have to follow as interviewers. If you wrote I want to ask you about the historical part, by the way. But when you're speaking to somebody who just wrote a nonfiction historical book, you can pretty much everything is open because
Yes.
you're never going to talk about everything in between the pages of a book. But
No.
the general twist at the end of a novel, you don't want to make. Don't want to talk about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But tell me about the history. Wasn't there some kind of a historical research that you did in some of the books?
In the very first book, yes.
Okay, and
the first book was based on a real estate scam, and it was based on the fact that somebody came in and purchased land that was condemned for taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, a group had gathered money and was going to get accepted as a historical site because it played a role in the Underground Railroad in Wisconsin, which was very huge. The whole western portion of the state was southwestern portion of the state was populated by the Amish, and they were very anti-slavery, and they kept hiding people and filtering them up to Canada and getting them citizenship in Canada. And so what they did, these entrepreneurs came in and bulldozed that building overnight so that they would have that corner lot to put a strip mall up. And it really happened.
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I
That's-
lived not 5 miles from where it happened at, and I was living there when it happened. So
Yeah.
it just seemed natural that it would show up in the book. And
By the way, when you grow up as a kid in New York, where there are subways, and then you learn about the Underground Railroad going all the way from the south up to like someplace I
that
suppose.
paints a different picture, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I remember as a kid thinking, "Wow, they really worked hard to get those slaves out of there. they built the whole subway system."
Yeah, they. No, I'm not going to go there. Don't
Just-
lead along, folks.
it's just one of those misconceptions.
But your characters are really they're lovable characters. They're real characters. You want to embrace them, and each of their personalities is just extremely unique.
I like them in the fact that they're real people. They don't have a big red S on their chest or anything like that. They
Right.
Just, they
big
go
red
above
what?
their S on their
S.
Oh,
chest.
S. Okay.
Okay,
I'll let you-
quiet back there. Shut this place down.
And you have that conflict too. I mean, you've got a mom and her son, and he's in law enforcement, and she gets worried, but then he gets worried about her, and then it all extends out from there.
Yeah, and the fact that she's still his mom.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a cop. He had, and certainly like in his late 30s, early 40s, but she's still his mom.
That's
and
right.
every once in a while, she takes on the mom role. She says, "Wake up, smell the roses. These people are doing this for you. Just shut up and appreciate it."
Exactly. And then,
sometimes readers don't get antagonists. They somehow think that. Do you get this? And maybe I'm wrong about this, but where the reader actually thinks that you are trying to make the point of the antagonist, where that person is put in the story, so you have an opposite point of view, or an opposition, maybe.
The antagonists in the first book are gone until the very end of the book, when you find out who they are. You know that there's something sinister going on,
Right.
but you don't know who's doing it. It's more of a pop ending at the end of it. In the new series, you know from the second chapter who the character is, who is coming to obliterate the other character. And everybody's aware of everything.
Oh,
But
my.
they just don't know who the other person is, and that person can't find the person he wants to kill.
And that's so different for you
Ain't it?
as a writer, yeah.
And yet it's still funny. So
Yeah. Do you think some of the people you met for the first time at last year's book feast will be there this year and and embrace you in a different way? In other words, they've become fans, and they are the ones who can't wait for the next book.
I get emails from people who were at Marion Library last year, which I think is a gorgeous place.
Yeah,
I just love the facility, and the people there were so gracious to the writers, which is not always the truth, and doesn't always happen, but they were just terrific. They would come and take your place if you wanted to go see one of the other writers and talk to them. They would occupy your table for you, and that the Friends of the Library did and that stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that part of it.
They
are
terrific to us.
super sweet, and they will all give each other credit for, there's no ego overpowering thing going on over there. So
the staff there is terrific, and I got emails from people that did come last year that asked me if I was going to be back this year, because they had bought my books as ebooks, but they wanted paper copies. And they wanted signed copies.
I like that. I like the fact that they wanted the paper copy.
I do too. I really enjoy the fact. I'm very tactile. You said emotional, but I'm very tactile too. I love to have a book in my hands.
Oh, yeah.
And greedily, I would someday like to own a first edition of a Nero Wolfe novel.
Oh, wow.
That would be a goal of mine, is to get a first print.
Isn't
and if
that
it would be
something?
autographed, I'd bang my head against the clouds. Rex Stout was just a terrific writer. And another one that I really admire now, it's current, is Lawrence Block. Lawrence Block contacted me when I put my books on the internet, on Amazon, and I had a price on them. And a book of his, when you did a search on my book, one of his books popped up as also read. How they did that?
Oh, yeah,
people
right.
also bought this book.
That's the cool part.
His book was priced at $1.99, and mine was priced at something like $3.99 or $4.99. And he sent me an email, and he said, "Who do you think you are that your book could show up on the same page as mine?"
How did we get to know you? We go back a long way.
Yes,
I can't remember.
P.J. Nunn.
Oh, you went through a publicist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
P.J. Nunn had me. She liked the books. And I ran into her in Chicago at a book fest, and she approached me and she said, you appeal to a more general audience than a Midwestern audience, even though the book is written about the Midwest. She said, you're not a local author. You're kind of a wider reach with what you write. She said, and I think I could do you some good. And so I went along with her, and then she had some problems in her life with her son's health and that kind of stuff, and she kind of disappeared from the business for a while. Now she's active again.
I think we had a guest this morning from her, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
I like PJ and that stuff, but she kind of disappeared, and I took it on myself. And then just through where I've gone and that stuff, I get invited back for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, it's you. It's your
I occupy a
personality.
space. They have an empty chair. They say, "See if Ansorge can fill that chair." It's in the back of the room.
I'm trying to remember if we ever met any of the publicists. We know our publicists like friends. I mean, we speak to them almost every day, but I don't think we've ever actually met any, have we?
No.
We've had
not
offers.
face-to-face.
We've had offers. If you're in New York, stop by. We'd like to have coffee, whatever, and we just doesn't happen. So.
Well, I offered to take you to lunch too, and you turned me down. So
Did I really?
Yeah.
You want a banana?
Joe made you work.
I got some bananas.
Yeah, we. A project to give him. And now Joe's working today. You see.
You should have come yesterday. It was Dan's birthday. We had food.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Joe to do something really evil with the soldering iron. He's
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
The people out there have no idea what's going on in that side of the room.
That's right.
Alan, thank you for including my sister's name in a Midnight Clear.
She is going to be a continuing character.
Really?
Yes, she is.
And you got the spirit that she would have been had she been in that circumstance, working with that kitchen or whatever it was, soup kitchen. That was the way she was. And thank you for somehow picking up on that, because I don't think we even talked about her.
It's in her face.
I think you looked at the photo. Yeah, I think you figured that out.
You sent me some photos of her, and you can tell a lot by body language.
I found some photos, by the way, of her and Robin, because they're kind of the same type of person, both working on a Habitat for Humanity house.
The women's build.
The women's build, and I mean, they're really knocking nails and sweating and working, and I was just taking pictures.
You brought sandwiches.
I brought
for
the
lunch.
sandwiches. I brought the food. Yeah.
You got sandwiches. I didn't get nothing.
I know.
Not even a cookie, a piece of ice, something, nothing for Alan.
Allan Ansorge is going to be at the library this coming Saturday at the book feast. I keep wanting to call it author feast. The 2013 book feast.
That's gruesome.
There you go. Another book series.
Medium rare over here.
Hugo's turn, by the way. The way you describe it sounds like I drew a blank. The painting guy.
Norman Rockwell?
Yeah. It sounds like a Norman Rockwell.
It is a Norman Rockwell. It really is.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you for coming. Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
for
You
having
look good. Last year we were worried about you.
Yeah,
were you
I
sick
almost died
last year? Did you really, literally almost die?
Yeah.
He did.
I went into an emergency room and my blood pressure was 51/28.
Not good.
Not good.
You okay now, though?
Yeah, they filled my tanks and I just
Did
lots of units of blood.
Did you say thanks a lot?
Yes, I did. And shall we dance?
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Good friend. I know Robin loves you, and
I do.
She's a great lady.
And Jane too. She's wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll see you on Saturday. We'll be there like we were last year. We'll be there late because we've got something earlier in the day. We're judging.
You always do the equestrian thing.
No, the Student Media Festival.
Oh yeah.
With all the videos that the students create, we get the honor of.
It's all
judging
it's all
them.
on the
They're
same
wonderful.
theme, though.
Want to borrow my tux, Robin?
Oh, there you go. That would be
Bow
nice.
tie and cummerbund.
That
outfit would go.
That's right, Alan. Alan looks so dashing in his tux. He received an award, one of the numerous awards he's received. And Alan, you are the best.
Thank you, dear.
No, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back. Oh, Alan, what's your website?
Ansorge.
AEAnsorge.com. AEANSORGE. Ansorge.com.
Yes.
I almost forgot to ask that very important question. All right, we'll take a little break and we will be back.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
This is James Snyder inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy, right here on WOCA 1370.
It's Paris in the swinging 60s, and Bernard is living the high life. He's got a great career, a beautiful apartment, and 3 fiancées, each one a beautiful airline hostess. Bernard manages to keep the 3 from finding out about each other as they fly in and out of Paris until Boeing introduces a new, faster aircraft, and all the schedules are changing. It's Boeing, a hilarious comedy live on stage at Ocala Civic Theater through April 14th. Tickets are available at 352-236-2274 or online at ocalicivictheater.com. No wonder they call Paris the City of Love.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
Hi, this is John Sotomayor, Executive Editor of Ocala Magazine, here to tell you that Ocala Magazine now has its very own radio show, and it's right here on WOCA The Source. We bring the